Most people believe their money problems are about money. They are not. This is the wealth code, and what I'm about to show you goes deeper than budgets, investments, or income. The real question is this: what if your brain is actively working against your own wealth, and you have no idea it's happening? Here is a number that should stop you cold. Studies on lottery winners, including a landmark 1978 study by Brickman, Coates, and Janoff-Bowman published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, found that within 2 years, most major lottery winners returned to roughly the same level of happiness and financial behavior as before their win. And it gets darker than that. The National Endowment for Financial Education estimates that up to 70% of people who receive a sudden financial windfall, lottery winnings, inheritances, legal settlements, lose it all within a few years. Not some of it. All of it. Think about that. The money arrived. The problem was solved. And something inside them gave it back. Your relationship with money is not a financial problem. It is an identity problem. The amount of wealth you hold at any given moment, your income, your savings, your debt, is not random. It is not bad luck. It is not the economy, though those things play a role. It is a precise external reflection of your internal self-concept around money. You have a financial thermostat. And most people never know it exists. When your bank account rises above your internal set point, something in you gets uncomfortable. You spend more. You make bad investments. You lend money you'll never see again. You create drama that costs you. The money drops back to where your identity says it belongs. And when your account falls below that set point, you grind, you hustle, you find a way. Not because you're disciplined. Because it feels wrong to be that low. The thermostat runs in both directions. Most people only ever fight the floor. They never question the ceiling. The concept has a formal name in psychology. It's called self-concept theory, and it was developed extensively by Carl Rogers in the 1950s. Rogers argued that humans are driven not just to survive, but to act in ways that are consistent with how they see themselves. When behavior contradicts self-concept, the brain experiences what Leon Festinger called cognitive dissonance, a psychological tension so uncomfortable that the brain will distort reality, change behavior, or sabotage outcomes just to relieve it. Here is what that means in plain language. If deep in your identity you believe, even unconsciously, that wealthy people are greedy, that money corrupts, that people like you don't get rich, then getting rich will feel like a threat to who you are. And the brain does not tolerate identity threats. It eliminates them. There's more. Psychologist Sonia Lyabomirsky's research on hedonic adaptation shows the brain has a powerful pullback toward baseline. But what most people miss is that this baseline is not fixed by biology. It is fixed by identity. And then there's the work of Dr. Brad Klontz, a financial psychologist and professor at Creighton University, who coined the term money scripts. These are unconscious beliefs about money, formed before the age of 8, mostly inherited from parents and early environments. Beliefs like money is scarce, rich people are different from us, I don't deserve more than my parents had. Klontz's research found that money scripts operate below conscious awareness and are highly predictive of financial outcomes, including income, net worth, and debt. They are not opinions. They are operating programs. And here is the brutal part. You did not choose them. Now let's go somewhere most financial content refuses to go. There is a system that benefits, financially and structurally, from you never understanding this. And it is not a conspiracy. It is just incentives. The consumer economy is not built on your financial freedom. It is built on your financial anxiety and your need for identity validation through spending. When you feel low status, you buy. When you feel unworthy, you buy. When you feel behind, you buy. Every luxury brand, every credit card company, every fast fashion retailer understands financial identity psychology, even if they don't call it that. They know that people don't buy products. They buy versions of themselves. They sell you an identity at a price that keeps you from ever actually building one. And the financial education industry is not much better. It teaches tactics, budgeting apps, debt snowballs, index funds. These are useful. But they are the equivalent of teaching someone to run faster without ever asking why they keep running in circles. The system benefits when you believe your problem is technical. Because a technical problem requires a product, a course, an app, a financial advisor. An identity problem requires something far more threatening. It requires self-examination. And self-examination doesn't have a price tag. Now, I want to be precise here. I am not talking about people who inherited wealth. I am talking about people who built it, and more importantly, kept it. The first thing they do differently is almost invisible from the outside. They have a settled relationship with having money. Not excitement. Not guilt. Settledness. Most people feel a spike of excitement when money arrives, and a spike of anxiety when it stays. Wealthy builders feel neither. The money is simply consistent with who they are. It doesn't need to be celebrated or justified. Second, and this is something I have observed directly, they are highly conscious of their money stories. Not as a therapy exercise. As a practical risk management tool. They ask themselves, where did this belief come from, and is it still serving me? Third, they expand their financial identity before they expand their financial reality. They don't wait until they're wealthy to start thinking like someone who is. They make decisions from the identity of a wealthy person now, even when the bank account doesn't match. This is not delusional. It is neurologically strategic. Fourth, they are deeply uncomfortable with money drama. Chaotic finances, emotional spending, financial feuds, these feel genuinely alien to them. Not because they're cold. Because their identity is incompatible with financial chaos. They have made wealth psychologically normal. That is the real secret. Let me give you 4 specific things you can do, starting today, that are not generic advice. Step 1, find your ceiling, not just your floor. Most financial advice tells you to build a floor, an emergency fund, a minimum savings rate. That is necessary. But your ceiling is the real problem. Ask yourself honestly, what is the maximum amount of money I can imagine having without feeling guilty, fraudulent, or like a different person? That number is your thermostat setting. Write it down. It is the first wall you need to break. Step 2, audit your inherited money scripts. Sit with these specific questions. What did money mean in your household growing up? What did your parents say, explicitly or implicitly, about rich people? What happened when money was tight? What happened when it wasn't? You are looking for the operating system. You cannot upgrade software you refuse to look at. Step 3, create what psychologists call identity behavior alignment, but do it in reverse from how most people try. Instead of waiting for your circumstances to change your identity first through small deliberate actions. This is not fake it till you make it. It is what neuroscientists call enactment, using behavior to reshape the self-concept. Pay yourself first, not as a financial tactic, but as a statement of identity. Read the things wealthy builders read, not for the tactics, but for the absorption of their worldview. Make one decision per week that the wealthier version of you would make. The brain updates identity through evidence. Give it evidence. Step 4. Find and replace the language you use about money. The words you speak out loud and the words you think are not just reflections of your identity, they are reinforcements of it. Every time you say "I'm not good with money," you are running a confirmation program. Replace it, not with affirmations, but with honest open questions. Instead of "I'm bad with money," say "I'm learning what wealthy people actually do." Questions keep the identity fluid. Statements lock it in place. You will never outearn a self-concept that is set below the level you're trying to reach, because your own psychology will always find a way to correct the imbalance. What I want you to sit with after this video is not a tactic. It is a question. Not "what should I do with my money," but "who does my money think I am?" Because that question, honestly answered, will tell you more about your financial future than any spreadsheet ever could. Here at the Wealth Code, we go deep into the psychology that drives financial outcomes, new videos every single day. If this shifted something for you, subscribe, because tomorrow we go even deeper. And if you want to keep pulling on this thread, go watch our video on why most people unconsciously choose the wrong financial advice, not because it's bad advice, but because it confirms what they already believe about themselves.